Is there a God? I think common sense says there's something out there. I think all of this doesn't make sense. How perfect creation continues, how life works. We can't even replicate this stuff. How cells work, how, there's types of animals, vegetation, plants, fungi, and they all operate in their own way. Scientists can't even understand the mechanisms of how cells work. And when you go inside of a cell, there's so many powerful examples of things having assignments and doing things. In the nucleus, the mitochondria, the membranes, and the transfer of information and things triggering things. Just the human, just an animal in general. When you learn the biology about how it starts with a cell, one single cell, and then you combine it with two, or a female male cell produces a new entity, a new creation. Life happens when you take two unique cells of different sexes and you combine them and you get a whole new me. Like, I came from two different cells, an egg and a sperm, and so did every other animal in the world in its different ways. And it's just fascinating when you think about just creation alone, how God is let's use the word creator, or even you want to get real philosophical, intelligent designer. Something started all this, and nobody can come up with even a reasonable explanation. Evolution, 150 years ago, Darwinism became a thing. Evolution is how God creates and differentiates, and how the weak die off but the strong live on. It's not anti-God. Whoever thought that, this all came from nothing, from a bunch of amino acids in a pool of water and microbes, and lightning struck it, and then we got single-celled organisms, and then all of a sudden we have multiple-celled organisms. That's not true. No one can explain how we went from single-celled organisms to trillion-celled organisms. How do you explain creation? I don't even care, because it's just not worth the energy thinking or figuring it out. I think it's worth thinking about philosophically, but I like to just shut my mouth and be in awe. I love nature. I would consider myself a conservationist. I've always been. I grew up in Wisconsin hunting, and I was raised to be like that, thinking, protecting the land and taking care of it. Everyone does. Everyone in rural, not just rural Wisconsin, Midwest. These are Midwestern values. These are American values, really. But from farmers, my grandfather taught me a lot about respecting the land and other figures in my life, and how to take care of it. And you don't throw trash. I'm an anti-plastic kind of guy. I mean, we got to come up with something better than plastic. I saw a picture the other day of a turtle. It's in captivity, and it's been taken care of in a little turtle sanctuary. But as a baby, it found its way into a plastic six-ring, plastic ring from a six-pack of soda or beer. And it, for a year time, who knows, but it was enough for this baby turtle to turn into an adult, and it looks like it just looks like it was squeezed. And it's permanent. Just look up the turtle. It's online. You get a picture right away of it, the article. And we got to take care of our planet. We got to take care of our home. I'm all for going to Mars, but I think we should take care of our own planet first. I think we should spend billions of dollars and get all the plastics out of the ocean and the rivers. It just drives me nuts, because it's just stupid and lazy. It's lazy, and it's corporate greed that we don't figure out a way to make biodegradable plastics. We can do it. Anyways, that's my rant. But nature, for me, when I go hunting and I'm in a deer stand, I experience God. I experience God just being in a garden, going to, going to aquarium. I love going to. I went to Discovery Cove in Florida a while back, and I just was fascinated by that. I could have went to Disneyland, but no, I'm going to Discovery Cove, and I swam with the dolphins, and I snorkeled with their. You're in the aquarium with all the fish. It's worth the money. When you see creation and it awes you, that's God. You know deep down in your spirit and your heart and mind that there's something mysterious going on here. You cannot explain it. That's God. You go out and watch deer and a fawn, a young deer. It's fall, it's October, the foliage is perfect, and the leaves are falling down. I'm up in the deer stand. I'm up 20, 30 feet, and that's my special place. Me and God, we're just appreciating creation. From the little critters to the big critters, it's magical. Nothing can explain how all of this is on the third rock from the sun, in this little itty-bitty solar system, in this average Joe galaxy, amongst hundreds and hundreds of billions of galaxies. I read there's over a trillion. I think the models we have with the James Webb telescope, they're telling us that none of it's making any sense. None of this makes sense. There's galaxies like, I read 200, 300, 140 times bigger than our galaxy. They just found a galaxy on the far edge of the universe. Fascinating stuff. How do you explain trillions of galaxies that have hundreds of billions of planets and stars? I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, no, it's hundreds of billions of solar systems, star systems, and on average, some have more, some have less. Each star has at least a couple. Some have like several, like ours. That's rare, but some have, on average, one to three. So it's like 1.6. Let's just say 2 planets, mostly gas giants, mostly uninhabitable, and we're fascinated about finding life on them. I don't think we're going to find life anywhere else in the universe. There's going to be no life found on Mars. There's going to be no life found anywhere. That's my bet. Because it takes away from how special our planet is, how Earth is, and what we have. From just the ecosystems in the oceans, the Amazon and South America, Africa. I mean, how do you explain the Serengeti, the Sahara? You look in Asia, just how fascinating. Everywhere you go, you see life. And it's not just simple life. It's not just like, oh, that's pretty. There's a little single-celled organism. No. There is extreme, complex ecosystems habitating the whole entire world, millions of animals, billions of insects, and millions of types of fish, and they're all different variations, not just one or two, but millions and millions and millions of unique species throughout the world. They just ran into the Antarctic, and this, I don't know what scientific ship went there several months ago. This is fascinating. And they had access to the underground environment under the Antarctic. And a huge shelf broke off, and then they had access. They sent their submersible scientific subs, these little mini subs, down in there. They had access. They realized there's no way to get in there. It's just so much ice. And they found new species, hundreds of new species, sea anomalies and sea urchins and just different types of tubers, and you name it, were everywhere. Big ones like. These things were so huge they never were disturbed. There's no big apex creatures in there eating them all up. It's its own unique ecosystem. We just discovered that. All right, as you can tell, I'm into science. I used to be a science teacher. I used to be a tech ed teacher. I was a tech ed science teacher, and I was a high school teacher. I taught middle school several years. I loved it. God in creation, life, how special it is. And when you go out, just look, whatever you see, just know that it was an intelligent designer who created it through evolution, through a fascinating system of organics, and nobody can explain it. We can't even come close. I know what it is. It was Jesus and his Father and the Holy Spirit. God bless.